Mazi Ezoke, and welcome to Njenje Media TV. And I say good evening to you all and welcome to this evening broadcast. Now, today, I want to talk about the arrests made over the killing of Mr. Okoye, Okechukwu, who until his death was a member representing Agwata 2 in the in the State Assembly, that is Agwaka. He was abducted, he was killed with his aid, and not only that he was killed, he was beheaded. Once more, may his soul rest in peace. Now, that singular incident has elicited so many, anger and so many commentary, and everyone's running helter skelter, and everyone is concerned. Why is this happening in the state of Anambra State? The governor of Anambra State gave a monetary incentive of 10 million for anyone who has useful information to this effect. Then, over the weekend, there appears to have been a breakthrough. Some of us knew what was happening, but until yesterday, the culprit in question was eventually arrested. The person who was, suspected to have been behind it was arrested. Now, in a statement published by Intersociety, signed by Emeka Umar Balasin, a very dear good friend of mine, we've been in these trenches together over the years. Now, he authored this himself amidst of other conversations that already have known that is ongoing in the state. And it may interest you to know that the person being linked to again, this is allegedly here, I would explain why, because we've got to be very careful here before someone says he takes us to court. Rather than narrate the story, let me see if I can pull this story from the media. If you haven't read this story, it's fascinating. It's really, really fascinating. I would encourage you to go to njenjemedia.com and you look for it. The name of the person in question accused of that dastardly act is called Egbe Ejejogu. Egbe Ejejogu. This report by Njenje Media titled it Egbe Ejejogu's arrest over Lawmaker Okoye's beheading. Another round of applause for Anambra DSS boss. Sometimes the Nigerian DSS, not the police, let's not make mistake about that. Sometimes it appears that the police are the DSS are able to do something if they actually want to get to something working, not the police. I'm not saying the police are not doing their job, but you can make of my statement however you want to view it, but that's a statement of fact. Now, in this report here, let's go through this report so that we understand what we are up against here. In this report, the report has it that there are obviously crimes being committed by what in this report was tagged as the Fulani jihadists. They engage in abduction, which is second part of this, that we will see how they abducted the head of the Methodist Church in Nigeria. He was abducted in Abia State, between Okigwe, that is between Imo and Abia. He was abducted. He will hear his own story. That's the second part of it. But let's quickly, by the way, for those of you in London, Daddy Choki will be performing next week, and I will be in London myself. That Choki, you have Mr. Imo, and you have Maggie. I will be there myself. So if you want to buy these tickets, you go to Njenje Media. Any news you open, you will see this here. If you click on it, it will take you to the page where you will buy. Now, let us get back to the story here. Enough of business. So, If you know who is Egbeje Jog, for those who don't know, Egbeje Jog is the younger brother, younger sibling to Teresa Honora. Who is Teresa Honora? Teresa Honora is the legendary princess of Egedege. Remember the song? Remember that song? Exactly. Teresa Honora hails from Unubi, that is in Nnewi South. Now, his younger brother, the younger brother is called, quote unquote, in the Nigerian way, he's called Chief. Malevolent. He is also a herbalist. That is a Chukwuemeka Onora, alias Egbe Ejiogo. He's a native doctor. Now, let's cut the long chase down. Story has it that the telephone of the late lawmaker, when he died, DSS started tracking the telephone. At some point, suddenly, the telephone of the deceased appeared online. Calls were made from that telephone. As calls were made from that telephone, that got DSS interested. They started tracking these telephones. And the tracking led them to a house in Unubi, which incidentally is where this guy lives. Now, let's fast forward a little bit. Egbeje Jogo, how was he trailed? You should recall that Inter-Society had in a statement on 26th May 2022, killing of another Muslim mother and her children in Anambra. You saw that video that we all condemned, the Harira Jubriya, the killing of that woman. You know, like I said on that day that, the incident happened, I honestly care less of who was behind it, but we must condemn that dastardly act, and whoever was behind it should be held responsible, because I don't care. That's not who we are. That's not who we are. Killing innocent children, innocent women, and again, to kill a pregnant woman is an abomination. And I said, for those who were attacking me, I said, you don't know the cost of killing an innocent baby in the womb. It has repercussion. Even if you have jazz, which I don't believe works, but let's say for argument's sake, even if you have jazz, even if you have juju or anything, the moment you commit such crime, your days are numbered. In this case, there were some arrests made, an Akada rider and an automobile mechanic. They were held over the dastardly act and named Unubi as the location of the scene of the heinous crime. Now, Inter-Society, obviously, they've been following the incident, and they swapped into action. They started making contact and they asked questions. But in the case of Egbeje Jogo, he was trailed with technology. He started using the SIM card of the late Okechukwu Okoye to make calls until the credit that he had on his phone got exhausted. Then he started using his own phone to make calls. Now the question is, why would you kidnap someone whom the family paid 20 million and they came and they physically delivered this money? You still gone ahead and beheaded the individual after collecting that 20 million. That is the question now that the DSS, and which is the puzzle that the DSS is trying to fix together. How come Egbeje Jogo in Unubi is in possession of a dead man's phone. Not only that he is in the possession of a dead man's phone, he used the phone number, he used the SIM card of the dead man and the phone of the dead man to make calls. There are questions to answer here. There is no person here using smartphone that doesn't have passcode, minimum of 4 numbers. Some, what's it called? Some are like patterns. Some are like drawing the mark of Jaga Jaga, Nigeria Jaga Jaga like this, you know, like Kung Fu. But in all this protection, how come he was able to open this and start using it? One thing that actually this tells us is that if the police wants to work, if they want to do their work, or if the DSS wants to do their work, they can actually do the work. But it appears there appears not to be, you know, the how do I put it, you know, the zeal to sometime, or is it that they are underpowered to do these things? Now, the main story of how he was arrested. Let us review that now. When DSS tracked him, they got to his house. On the 28th, that was last Friday, which led to early hours of last Saturday. They went to his house to arrest him. They invaded the house at night. Story has it that he magically jumped fence and disappeared. 3 security operatives jumped fence with him. All of them seriously wounded, but they could not see him. The story has it that he has some spiritual or supernatural powers. When he jumped into a ditch, he disappeared. Well, the DSS went inside his house, got some items, and they recovered about 10 guns, automatic weapons. So for the fact that he possesses about 10 automatic weapons, and I think some of these weapons were linked to the security agents, you know, the ones that obviously have lost their lives. Now, I want us to be paying attention here. This person is known, he's Igbo. He's a citizen of Anambra State. It's not been clear that he is any part of the organization. So that some of you, before you log out and before you go and start talking nonsense, that you understand what is happening, the sequence here. He does not belong to any organization. Not that the DSS has said, this is not police. If this was to be a police operation, you have had a press statement. You would have had them parade anybody that was passing on that street that day was a suspect. Would have had them parade 15 other boys. They might just go to Afunubidia or go to Oyoga, a neighboring town, or go to Afezinifite, a neighboring town, or go to Ekekulumile, a neighboring town, and arrest innocent people, even someone in their farms. But that has not been the case. And we must commend the security agents where we think there is, you know, that they've done something commendable. However, there is something that they've also done that is not right. Because this individual jumped and ran, DSS set that house ablaze. And I've been trying to see if anybody can get me the video of that. About a couple of minutes ago, I was able to get the video of burning that house. So you see, Chinua Achebe says, if you want to understand the language of the ants, you must bring your ears closer to the ground. So that is where we are. And I don't know if this video would play. You will see how they destroyed that house. But again, that's not my business. But I think DSS should endeavor to ensure that whoever led that operation either should be sanctioned, because that's not the way things are. That's not the way things work. Yes, he escaped from his house, but does that warrant the whole house being burnt? We must also condemn that. We must also condemn that. Now, having condemned that, we now say the way and manner these things has happened, and you begin to ask yourself, how come people now set up camps? Because there is this bandit camp in Unubi and every other surroundings. And I think the governor has to be very creative. There must be a way of maybe where these camps are, the state government should take them over. You know what I mean? We have herdsmen living in the bushes and elsewhere. These bushes, they're not meant for inhabitation in such manner. People should live in houses and not just live in camps like animal. It's only probably criminals that engage in such activities. Now, where is he now? The man in question is with the DSS. He is now under the DSS custody. And I say kudos to the DSS for doing a good job there to ensure that we have sanity returned to Anambra State. What is happening in the state of Anambra and the Southeast as large is actually heartbreaking. One, we have what we call the Fulani bandits engaging in kidnapping. If you know Lawmaker, if many of you that follow me, if I'm driving from Enugu heading to Port Harcourt, most times I do live video. Lawmaker is one of those places. After, if you're heading towards Okigwe, you see like a cow market before you approach the cow market. The road is well done and it's done by Buhari. Fantastic road, but without marking, without no road marking. And that makes a mess of the whole fantastic road they've done. This axis has become notorious. Last month, I buried my elder brother. And in that burial, a friend of mine who resides in Akwebon was kidnapped. He was kidnapped at the Isuochi. All these things are happening within one vicinity. Suddenly, it appears that the people of Isuochi are now waking up because what's it called? The head of the Methodist church was kidnapped there, and in his press statement, which we watch now, as he spoke to the press, he made a revelation that is very, very stunning, and this revelation is in line with what my friend that was kidnapped about 6 weeks ago told me. Recall that I told us on the 29th of December, the day Abaribe was receiving his chieftaincy title, I was headed to Ngwa. And I used Arondizog Road, Akoko Arondizog. And before me, how lucky I was. The Lexus before me, white Lexus 350. The Vamusta inside the bush. As I drove there, The car was steaming. That is, the car was still on. The key is left on the ignition. All the occupants whoosh inside the bush. And when we understand this trend, one thing that beats me and one thing that makes me unhappy is if the government really is serious. Because while I parked my car and I was speaking to the police that were there, I spoke to the army as well, one of the army commandants. I said, why are your men going on foot inside this bush? Because when these people hide, you may not find them. But you guys are the army. Why don't you go in here with military drone, weaponized drone? If it gets to a point of taking your elements out, take them out. The guy laughed. I said, have you forgotten that this is Nigeria? And he told me other things. He said, well, I don't want you to make this public. I said, okay, but would you grant me a selfie? He agreed. Me and the guy, we took a selfie. I said, okay, that's my own trophy. I gave him my business card. I said, okay, this is who I'm, who you met. And but one day I would get to use that story one day. But the bottom line is that something is happening in the Southeast that must worry all of us. And that is that the spate of kidnapping has gone to a level that must worry each and every one of us. Sure, sometimes people do argue about who is behind it. If you kidnap someone, it doesn't make it less a crime that that individual was kidnapped by Fulani, was kidnapped by Niger Delta people or Igbo people or Yoruba people. No, it doesn't make it less a crime. The crime is still kidnap. The crime should be punished, irrespective of who is involved. And sometimes when we want to reduce this issue of crime and punishment to only the nationality or to the ethnic identification of those that perpetrated that crime, for me personally, it diminishes the crime. I give us this example. If you leave your household intact and you've gone to you've gone to a journey, and on your return, a stranger invaded your house, violated the female members of your family. Everything happens. You come back. What then happens? Maybe that has happened for about 3 days. And obviously, the individual in question probably have gone to KFC, have gone to Mr. Biggs, get some food, fast food for your family members. So when you come back as the head of the family, what do? You shake his hands for buying your family, takeaway food, or you begin to ask questions, actually, how on earth did you break into my house? That, at that point, you care less if that is your younger brother, elder brother, stranger, or nothing. All you want to address at that point is the crime that has befallen your family. And that is the way I want us to. If we as a people must get to the root of this, we must begin to detach emotion and look at substance. And this substance here is that there are crimes. Everyone is hiding. A lot of people. While I talk about these, when we segment these crimes, we look at the ones done, by others, by the ones done like this one that we're going to watch now, done by the Fulani Herdsmen. These are headers. Just that my friend is still in shock because I have invited him to come here and discuss that with me, but he's still in shock. He doesn't want to talk about it because he never believed he will come out alive. Then you have the other ones that kidnap happens. Sadly, your kidnappers are your brothers. You still kidnap. But what challenges us and what must challenge us is where it appears that the security agents, according to him, now I am quoting him, where it appears that the security agents are colluding, in the words of General T.Y. Danjuma, that they are colluding with these bandits, these terrorists, or whatever you call them. Let's listen to the elderman. This has been published, but I want to take an excerpt here for the analysis. This is
back. Some people were at the center, those who shot, who fired at us. And there was another group in front. To make sure that we remain unaware, they fired shots at our vehicle. And eventually, they abducted us, 3 of us. The communication man of the church was able to escape. The driver was able to escape. They captured me. The Bishop of Owe and my chaplain took us into the bush and were torturing us. And it was in the process of that torture that I hit my right eye on a tree. And even when blood was flowing and it was soaking my handkerchief, they didn't feel they had. All they said that we should follow them, that they are not actually against Nigerian citizens, they are against the government. But the government is a bad government. They are Fulani boys, all the 8 are Fulani. They are Fulani boys, and that if any day they see the president, they will chew him. It's their brother, they are disappointed, them and disappointed Nigerians. They will chew him raw. Or any of his representatives, they will chew him raw. But I said, well, even that part of government, but I'm a church man, I'm a man, Christian, I'm not a government official. It's okay. That's what I do. We would have killed you outrightly without asking for any ransom. But now that you're a church man, let's go inside the bush. So we moved and moved and moved and trekked up to 15 kilometers. But I knew that it was from my area. I knew that we were rigmaroling and winding and winding and winding, going up, going down, going up. And eventually at 11 p.m., they said, okay, now we negotiate. Each of us will pay 50 million, and we're going to pay 150 million. I thought it was a joke. I said, we are going to pay 10 million. They said, what? What? Don't say that. They lifted up their knife to cut me. I said, please hold on. They said, we are not going to change you. They're going to pay us 150 million. Eventually, they said, okay, because you are a father. And these boys are between 18, their leader is about 35 years. I told them, all of you are younger than my own daughter and even my son. You are younger than them. I'm supposed to be your father. I say, we know. That's why we are not very harsh with you. Otherwise, not even outside. They now say, okay, Oga, let us tell you what we will do. By then, they have taken my episcopal ring because it's gold plated. They've taken my wedding ring. They've taken this. They said, and they ransacked our bag and took all the money. They said, okay, do you know what we do? Pay us 100 million. It's not negotiable. If you talk, we shoot you, kill you, and forget about the money and kidnap others. I said, okay, we will pay you 100 million. So they said, after some time, they said, where is the money? I said, this is Sunday night now. How can we get money this night? And you know that there's this seat at home in Igbo land. You can't afford the money now. Be patient till morning. We'll make contacts. Then we make contacts within and around Imo and Abia. Make contact from our HOC. My wife's line was not good, so I knew she must have been very depressed and confused. So eventually I was able to get her. I told her my life Nothing has happened. I told my wife I'll be released, but it's a matter of time. And he told me she had already gathered people to pray. So they were praying. Now, at a time, they said, you are delaying them. My bishop of Warren, they laid him on something, and somebody raised knife. Like they are going to cut off the head. Now, the blood will spill on me, and then I'll know they're serious. The other one pointed to, I said, don't, you need money? We'll raise money for you. So, but the irony of it, what paid me most was where they were situated. The soldiers, all of Fulani extraction, Nigerian soldiers, they were there at Lawmaker Junction. And these boys were going behind them. Meanwhile, they kept...
Did you hear that? At the point of their kidnap, there were soldiers there. You know, the reason why I paused at this moment is that I want us to know something. Soldiers, according to him, are also in cahoot with these. No, I'll pause it here. He will continue. But I want us to know something. It's not funny. But what can I do? Nigeria, as Buhari said, from top to bottom.
ABC, Nigeria, from top to bottom, top to bottom. Top to bottom. Top to bottom.
It's like a place or tumbling. Everything is not funny. They will play me fun. I play. My neighbor press fun.
Nigeria from top to bottom. It must indeed be a top to bottom fall to note that those security agents that ought to protect lives and properties are in collusion to those who terrorize the citizens. Why is it and what is it that these headsmen have become terrorists and are terrorizing everywhere, north, east, west, south, everywhere? You know, they spare no one in Zamfara. They spare no one in Isuochi, Abia State. If you understand, if you ever come from, either you're coming from Aba or you're from Akwebong, and you go on that Port Harcourt Expressway, the moment you leave Okigwe, sadly, it has become a dead zone. You know, if you recall where we had old toll gate, if you turn left, you head to Arundizog. If you go straight, there is another turn on your left that takes you inside the Isuochi. Those places have become dead zone, especially Lokwanta. Last week, a man who had a farm in Lokwanta was macheted by the same headsman bandit. Macheted. You know, just gave him serious cuts. Why? Is Nigeria not going indeed from top to bottom?
ABC, Nigeria, from top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom.
It's like a place or tumbling.
Nigeria is indeed going from top to bottom. From top to bottom. You listen to him, he says something, you know, these things to you. Today, early in the morning, we now saw the youth of that community suddenly woke up and said, enough is enough. The Isuochi youth today were protesting that there shouldn't be any more army roadblocks, anything of such on that road, that they should all leave. Isuochi youth protested today. Let's see if we can get that video for you. You see the youth protesting here.
We are alive Chineru Junction. Even them in an army checkpoint. Even I know now. When I send them, they must go. They must go. Animals go.
GPS is 9. GPS in 360. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you very much.
Go, proceed.
Yes, sir.
And our mission is not divided. Our only mission is to pursue the kidnappers out of Umunoch local government. To pursue the kidnappers and the security forces that are aiding them.
Yes, sir.
Our mission, we have already made our demands known to the government. We have demanded that this road, this is the Women Road. We have demanded from the government that this road must be opened within the next 7 days. We have also demanded from the government that the cattle market at Umunoch to be relocated. And the most important among others is that we are demanding from the government that we don't need the military checkpoint at Farm and Junction again. We don't need them. We don't need them anymore. Please pay attention. And without missing West, without fear of any condition, they are hearing us, they are over there, they are hearing us. We are not here to confront anybody. We are here to mandate them to back out. We are here to mandate them to leave Umunoch in clear. We don't need the services of men and women again. Overstay their welcome. And as we demand that they should within the next 7 days vacate from this place.
So, guys, as you can see, this is the protest that happened today. Now, not only this protest, you can imagine that what the women were protesting for, they are now thought they were protesting for the army to open the road that they've used their military, they use drones and sandbags to close that road. So they are now demanding that that road should be open so that the people who use that, it appears to be like a shorter coat or a short coat. And I do agree with them that that should be happening. How can people then, after building road, we are now leaving that road for whatever, just because somebody is, I don't know, for whatever reason. But one interesting thing happened. In that protest, A CP addressed the crowd. A CP of police addressed the crowd. And this is what he said. Pay attention to what he said.
Oh, my name is CSP Jumbo.
Sorry, CSP. Sorry, no. CSP Jumbo. Now listen to what he said. I played, let's play that.
My name is CSP Jumbo. I'm the Commander Rapid Response Squad.
So he is the Commander Rapid Response Squad in Abia State. He was posted to help tackle this criminality happening within that vicinity.
I was sent there by the Commissioner of Police 2 days ago to come and assist the people of Insecurity to do away with all these kidnapping.
Now, Jumbo, if you hear the way he pronounced Isuochi, you will know that he is not Igbo. I take it is either Middle Belt or he is maybe Midwest, right? Either Benin or so. He's not Igbo. Why I'm saying this, why I want to pick on his ethnicity is the next statement he's going to make will be very instructive. Pay attention.
Of Insecurity to do away with all these kidnappers, the Fulani who are kidnapping our people.
Did you hear that? Who are kidnapping you? He didn't say you. He didn't say who are kidnapping the people of this state. He didn't say that. He said who are kidnapping our people. Therein lies that collective strength, people. We must treat one another. When insecurity strikes, it doesn't know if you're Igbo, doesn't know if you're Yoruba, it doesn't know if you're Hausa. Insecurity strikes. Look at the Abuja Kaduna rail that was bombed and eventually people taken away. They have Yorubas there, classmate of Professor Yemi Osibanjo. They have Igbos there. One of those, the girl that was shot and killed, the one that bullet hit. They have Fulanis there. They have Hausas there. They have Ibibios. Anybody does not matter. And that's when I say, when we look at crime, we can still do profiling, understanding the ethnicity or whatever, but in crime fighting, we must deal with elements of criminal activities squarely, irrespective of who is involved. That is my stand.
Our people that are coming home, they are kidnapping them. We are not happy about it. Yesterday night, I sent my man to Gariki, this cattle market. They go there to spend money. After kidnapping our people, they will collect ransom, they will go and spend it there. The army are not helping us. You people be fair with us.
So now, this is a collaboration of a serving police officer sent to come and help in that vicinity. What does that tell you? And I read a comment from Charles here saying that there was no Fulani in that train. I don't think I need to engage you. The chairman of the Bank of Agriculture that was kidnapped and ransom was paid before his release. I don't know. If you don't know, go and make your research. Let's not just, say some of these things. Listen, when you fight criminality, it can happen to anybody. That's why, I don't know how else to say these things. These are criminal elements. They should be flushed out. Now, you can imagine one of the arguments is that since we stop them from doing their cow business, then they have to kidnap in order to. So what manner of nonsense is that? So because Lagos State does something to, what's it called, Ladik or whatever, then you go into, for Christ's sake, get the individual, yank your ass off in the prison, they stay there, rot in jail, who cares? But again, they won't do that. They've been pampered for some sort. So when you listen to these things, I mean, it just gets you sometimes worked up, because the thing there is very simple. Very, very simple. I wish that we do not have leadership sometimes. It hurts, it hurts my brain. I don't say it. I have to say it most times, that we do not have the type of leadership we ought to have. We should have men governing the state that should be ahead of these criminals in thinking, in thoughts, in processing information. Should be ahead of. Tell me why we should be waiting on freaking federal government. Why can't we, even if it means engaging those that, I don't care, call them private mercenary, call them whatever, I don't care. Engage people that can use technology to fight this. Take the battle from the top. Have area mapping of those places. Understand these are places they are. Know how to track them. I learned someone, a friend of mine was kidnapped 2 weeks ago at Adazinuk in Anambra State. Now, what they do is that when they kidnap you, they only use your phone, because when the police track them, the moment you pay ransom, the police can track the phone to your house. And he said the same thing. Those that kidnapped him in Adazinuk and took him between Adazinuk to, this Golden Tulip Hotel in Agolo, took him at the back of the Golden Tulip in Agolo. They also said they were also Fulanis. So it's time that the Southeast government, irrespective of what must have happened in the past, we can start with a new clean slate. There must be a regional security outfit to help the police. We would not be talking about any regional security outfit if the state police were anything to go by, if it was working in any way, shape, or form. If all this nonsense, these rubber stampers that now want to become president, rubber stampers, cucumbers and carrots in the National Assembly, if they were anything to write home about, they should have stupidly amended the Constitution to give the people the state police. Then you recruit and you train people from your state. Security, they say, is local. Look at that man now, this CPS or CSP or whatever he called himself. He has been sent there. He's not from that place. He doesn't understand the local language. He doesn't understand the dialect. He just goes there. He's looking at everybody. Everybody is the same to him. He doesn't. How can you do intelligent gathering? In Lokbanta, where you have that big cattle market, it appears that even from what the head of the Methodist Church was saying, if they take this ransom, they are channeled through those markets. Infiltrations. What is the job of the secret services? But it appears they appear incapable and unwilling to even do anything. And that is where the challenge is. It's becoming, honestly, it's becoming ridiculous. You're being hunted. Now, it feels like during the time of slave trade, you go to the farm, people are just hunting you to sell you to slaves. Now, you are just being hunted so that someone extracts money from you, from your family. In most cases, the women fall. Today, I was being told of a story, a woman that came from Italy. A woman that came from Italy. She was kidnapped. She was violated multiple times. And the person telling me the story today said, what broke her heart is that the woman basically said, if she dies, she should be buried in Italy. She should never, her corpse should never come anywhere near the entity of Nigeria. Now tell me, hasn't Nigeria failed that individual? She came for business. She was kidnapped. She was violated. Money was collected off her. Now the psychological trauma that she's going to live with that all the days of her life. Nigeria indeed from top.
ABC, Nigeria.
It's indeed sad that we have gone, how the mighty has fallen from top to bottom. It was Abacha that was allegedly quoted and ascribed the quote that if an insurgency lasts for more than 48 hours, then it means that the government is aware of the perpetrators. Again, make of that citation whatever you want to do with it. But from the pattern of things happening and from the level of people speaking up, if you go back and quote General T.Y. Danjuma, a man at one point in this country was the head of your military, I think, chief of defense staff. If he can come out, a man who is not given to flippant speaking, a man who doesn't speak anyhow, a man of immense wealth that he didn't work for, by the way. He was given, because of his military, whatever, he was given resource of a people in the Niger Delta, and he made money without actually working for it, because the oil wells that he owned, but no one knows how much he paid for it. He paid nothing for it. He was just given, just like Alakija. But that's a story for another day. When he tells us that those that's supposed to be protecting us collude with our transgressors, then it should be a point of worry to any one of us. It should worry us. I tweeted these on earlier today. I think some of my brothers missed the point. The point is, you know, when I read some of the comments, it's basically sad. It's, many of you are saying, oh, even in this comment section now, oh yeah, but you people were saying it's not, it was Apple, it was ESN, it was this, it was the other one. I think some of you like the sound bite, just the sound of your voice. Maybe you write without thinking. What I know, and any right-thinking person has been calling for, especially myself, is that I do not give a hoot who is behind the criminalities. We must fish them out, punish them. The head of the Methodist Church, who paid 100 million, was kidnapped by Fulani Herdsmen. That's what he said. Someone who speaks and dresses like you and I, for those of us from the Southeast, is now being accused of the beheading of a House of Assembly member representing Aguata 2 in Anambra State of Assembly. In one side, what happened in Isuochi, Abia State, done by the Fulanis. The one happened in Anambra State is being linked to someone from Newi South and someone whom many of us know the sister, based on the fact that she is a very popular artist. I think last year she did a song with, I can't remember, Gaga, something I can't remember again. So I'm too old, I don't know these names. But he did a song with Larry Gaga, I think. Yeah, maybe. So he did a song. That is the lady is that's the younger brother to that lady in question that is being accused. Now, when you come to my Twitter handle and just comment, you say you've been defending them. You've been defending them. You don't know that when you point one finger, others are pointing at you. Therefore, it's not about pointing finger that this crime was done by Fulani, this one was done by Igbo, this one was done by Ibibio. If we want to stop these crimes, we must find a way to punish be that individual Fulani, be that individual Igbo, is the individual Mazezoke, is the individual you, that I am punished when such crime is committed by myself. We must use technology as well to get these things to stop. How come that in this day and age, we are talking about that ragtag people with maybe dagger and whatever, kidnaps an individual, takes them into bushes, and that's it. That's it. And no one. How are these people moving these millions? They were paid 100 million. And they moved this 100 million in 20 million in boxes. Listen to that once more. Let him finish his. Listen to this.
Somewhere, numbering about 200, somewhere.
You see that here. They left their cows somewhere. The cows numbered about 200, and they come. That is the same pattern. And I say, let me tell us this. That is the same pattern. My elder brother, or the eldest in the family that died in the year 2020 December, was buried on 15th of January last year. During my chieftaincy conferment, December 2015, in my community, on his way from Lagos with his family, he was kidnapped at the Bini bypass with his wife, with his 2 daughters, and him in a Honda Pilot. He was kidnapped. Imagine being home for the chieftaincy title taking, everything, preparing everything. The next thing you receive the telephone call, because they've told you, okay, we've left. Everyone was hoping around 5, 6, no, between 4, 5, they will be home. Suddenly around 5, your telephone rings. You pick the phone and say, make I talk me. He said, who is that? And someone gives you the phone. The next thing you hear, what is this? You're like, okay, hold on, slow down. Someone collects the phone. The next thing you hear, I don't tell me, they bring me 15 million. If you don't bring me 15 million, they kill me. They kill me. You know the best. He drops the call. Now, if you have not been in that position, you may not understand. It takes a while to actually process what just happened within maybe 30 seconds call. You begin to assimilate that someone you're waiting for at home suddenly brings you that he was kidnapped. And they are the verge of killing all of them. At that point, you're trying to make every single person you think will help in your telephone, you're ringing like mad. It's a situation I want no one to be in. Now, from that angle, those that engaged it on that kidnap, because eventually, thank goodness, he was released the next day. Those that engaged on that, according to him, we are Fulani Herdsmen. The editor, Newsband, formerly Elomba Communication, was kidnapped in Abuja second week of April. He was kidnapped in his house. They broke down his house. But because he was born in Kaduna, he lived in Kaduna, and he understood the language very clear. When they kidnapped him, he was able to. I spoke to him last week. I said I will bring him on this platform. We have that conversation. So let him tell us his experience. I think, let me see if I can make it this weekend to bring him here. We have that conversation, because the thing is that many people shy away from, and I don't blame them, about trauma. Most times people don't feel comfortable, reliving that traumatic experience. The man in question has, think about 4 children, a wife and house help, sleeping in the house. Someone broke into their house, damaged the protectors, came in, grabbed him. And while he was talking with them, they told him, I will leave him come on this platform and tell us the rest of the story. That they came into Nigeria hoping that they will be given the things that they promised, but since that was not forthcoming from the presidency or those that invited them, they are now going to do whatever they will do to make a living. The man on the screen said something similar. We must begin to put one on one together. He said that if they see the president, they will deal with him, that they are not happy with him. Are we making the dots? Are we connecting the dots, people? It's no joke when I say that Nigeria has indeed gone from top to bottom.
ABC, Nigeria, from top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom.
This one that says on
Nigeria has from top to bottom. Now, let's finish listening to this man.
Need money to raise the money for you. So, but the irony of it, what paid me most was where they were situated. The soldiers, all of Fulani extraction, Nigerian soldiers, they were there at Lawmaker Junction. And these boys were going behind them. Meanwhile, they kept their cows somewhere, numbering about 200, somewhere, down, with some people, and they're all together. People were taking care of the cows, but they were, parading us in the bush, until finally they settled somewhere. They said, when are you bringing the money? I said, by 12 noon, I will call the people I contacted, whether the money had been raised. And I called them. They are gathering the money, and they had it. They said I will use my phone to talk, that they can't use their phone. They don't want to be tracked. Because if I use their phone, the security forces will track them down. Then I used my phone, I negotiated. I told my people, they say we are raising money. Somebody mentioned we have raised 30 million. I said, SOC, please, any money in the office, life is more important than money. Yes. Transfer it to a certain account. Let's pay them that 100 million. And eventually, by 3 p.m., they say, call your people. The phone said, we have raised 130 million. I said, please, give them 100 million.
Now, you see why what breaks me and what breaks my heart is this trend of business is very, very unlikely to stop. Kidnapping someone in 2 days, you made 100 million. Now tell me the manner of business you would ever do in this world that will yield that level of dividend. Tell me. In 2 days. You see why it wouldn't stop? Because by virtue of the fact that these ransoms were paid and that they are arming themselves the more, they're buying more weapons, they have, access to money, there is no way this thing will stop. It's not going to, and that's the scary part. And some of us that said this, okay, I'll put it this way. While these things, Mohammed Aminu, You can come online, if you can join me, but again, condition is that you must show your face, like I'm showing mine. If you don't want to show your face, please do not come online. And if the place you are is not well lit, there is no need bothering yourself. So if you want to make contribution, you can, the link is in the comment section. You can click on the link and comment and make your contribution. Now, having said that, what bothers me most is that, you know, this thing is very unlikely to stop. The virtue of what is then happening now. How will it stop? How? Ekwam says that narcotic business gives such money. Not all this rap where they swallow. Unless you're into a big time container merchant. If not, if you're into wholesale, you know what it means 100 million? Come on. Come on. Come on. It's really, really heartbreaking.
And the package, they said, their leader said, package the money. Their leader was born in Igbo land. So born from Sudan, but the parents had died. He was born in Igbo land. So he said he was born around Omai, Hamus, where the father was a cow dealer, cow. So the boy understood the if you involve police or soldiers or DSS, we will kill you because our life will be at risk. We kill you first. He said, down there, don't you be down because there are 7 decomposing bodies there. In fact, we cut off their head. They are there. So if you like, we are pursuing the order.
Now, did you hear that? There were 7 decomposing bodies there. Something has happened to our psyche. That human body means absolutely nothing to us. The other side, you go to Olulilu axis, when DSS, the last time they invaded, you see where they roast human bodies. This one now, in Isuochi area, you hear where the Fulani Herdsmen also have their own place of having decomposing bodies. Jeez, this is crime. There must be a total outrage from everyone, especially those in political powers. Those with political powers must rise up now. These must be nipped in the bud. These must be nipped in the bud. This must be nipped in the bud. Felix Chikelu says, okay, now who are you going to blame it on? As usual, said that those are Igbos are causing insecurity. See, such is the level of lack of understanding. I don't know where you just jumped off and you made such comment. If you have been following the stream, you understand that these are crimes. You don't just look at one. You look at crimes holistically. There are ones we do. There are ones done by foreign. There is no two ways about that. If you don't like it, sorry, I can't help you. This is no sentiment. You think all our brothers that were into kidnapping, they're all now born again and they're all pastors and bishops and popes? They still go on in their trade. The only difference now is that you have people, when crime is committed, because they know that there is a new trending thing in town, when they commit crimes, they try to target to that trending thing in order for people to kind of deviate attention. Hence, what I keep encouraging and I keep calling for, encouraging the security agents, is to dispassionately look at these crimes, understand pattern, and find ways to get these crimes solved. Find ways to get these crimes solved. Now, I think I'm being joined by Mohammed Aminu here. Mohammed?
Yeah, good.
Mohammed, I can see your face, please. Mohammed, are you there? You have to go out and come back in. Your network is very poor. Nigeria is happening to your network. That's why no one could hear you. Nigeria is happening to your network. No one could hear you. So let's finish this because this is absolutely insane.
So they said.
Okay, let me see once more, Mohammed. Let me see if you can come in. Are you there, Mohammed?
I'm there. Can you hear me?
Okay. Don't you have any light in your house? You are so dark, like
yeah, I'm coming.
Like a baby in the womb.
Can you see me now?
We would like to see your face. Okay, Mohammed, I can see you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening from here.
Where are you joining me from, Mohammed?
I'm joining you from Nigeria, so to say, Northeast in particular.
Which state in particular?
No, not necessarily. I say Northeast in particular.
You don't want to disclose here. Are you also afraid?
I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm just saying I'm from the Northeast. Simple as that.
Okay. So go ahead, Mohammed. What's your contribution?
I really want to use Medium also to say your page to thank you very much for always trying to liberate the mindset of the people, particularly Nigerians and also the Southeast in particular, so to say. And one thing I always like our people to be doing is what we call investigative journalism, so to say. Whenever you are a content creator like you cannot just capture any kind of information that comes online or on Facebook or on YouTube. You need to do what we call investigative journalism. I have a teacher in secondary school that always tell me that do not always base your hearing or listening to general information, base your knowledge and information on exceptions. By then, you're going to be a best reporter, so to say. You know, it has become an habit in Nigerian context that whenever a crime is being committed, they try to give it ethnic profiling. And giving it an ethnic profiling, it will ignite or engine what we call tribe crisis, so to say, based on what we have in Nigerian context at today. But my worries at this particular junction is that we tend not to fight the actual crime or those people who committed the crime. We only jump to give it what we call ethnic profiling. You know, it has become a nature, or so to say, a culture to some sets of people in the Southeast. Whenever some things happen, they will just show it to say it's Fulani, because they know that their viewers or listeners, so to say, do not have the capacity to went ahead to make investigation and find out the actual truth or the actual happening of what occurred. They only capture or what would take in whatever comes out from a particular set of people. You understand what I'm saying? So going to this main topic of the day, that the bishop was captured in Pachakwat's highway, so to say, if I could listen to him very well.
Yes.
Yeah. It baffles me a lot, and it gives me too much things to think about. And there are questions that need to be asked so that we get the clear information on what actually happened. You know, there are some connections with kidnappers and also those who have been kidnapped. They can maybe threaten you to tell you that if you ever expose who kidnapped you, we're going to follow you. We know your location, we know your family, we can wipe them out. So someone can tend to speak whatever he wants to speak on the public, because nobody can maybe at that juncture deny him, because he was the one that was kidnapped, he was the one that was there. But there are information, once someone said it, you tend to find some in some there are some not correlation. There are missing link.
Sometimes there are disconnects between the narrations.
Thank you very much. There are missing link. We call it we call it in use of English if I remember, I'll let you know. So what I wanted to say here is that this person was kidnapped in Abia State, in particular, so to say, Abia or any of the 5 states of the Igbo. But you are aware, I'm aware that there are saying that say that Fulani have been chased out completely from the Southeast. We have been seeing so many videos by some people saying that Fulani have been chased out. So the question I want to throw here is, there are a particular group that was created particularly and purposely to protect the bushes of the Southeast, so to say. And we have been seeing them operating, killing cows, shouting, we have chased the Fulani away. So does that tell us that these people share same bushes with the Fulani? And it's very unfortunate. I'm coming, let me drop. It's very unfortunate that a Fulani man can be in Abia State or Imo or Enugu or Anambra and capture a bishop of that particular status and demand a ransom of 100 million. And that money was given before he was released. It's the information I cannot say is I don't want to say he's lying, but honestly, something is hidden on that account.
I have listened to other opinions in so many WhatsApp forums where we belong to. I've listened to people, but I always say this, and I will say the same thing to you, my good brother Mino. You cannot beat a child and tell the child not to cry. When something happens to you and you feel the pain, I will be insulting you if I tell you, oh, is that painful? Why are you crying? Here is a bishop. The army has invited him today because he made an allusion that the army were close to the place where he was kidnapped and they did nothing. He wouldn't be the first person to say that. Recall that there was a video that trended at the beginning of the year in Auchi, where individuals, these were Auchi people, demonstrating that this particular checkpoint, the house opposite the checkpoint where the police go in and rest, the same house houses kidnapped victims. How do you explain that? Now, my brother, I am not saying that you might be right. The bishop or the head of Methodist might be fluking, but for what reason? If a family member, I take you on one thing you said, that it could be that they've been threatened and said, say this and say the other one. Then I tell you, the same place he's describing 6 weeks ago, a friend was supposed to attend my elder brother's burial that happened on the 27th of April, could not attend. When he called me, he said, I'm still confused and they are still in shock because of what happened to me. Recall, this person used to live in Aba. The reason why he moved away from Aba was because Aba at that point was destroyed by one of our brothers called Osisi Kanku, who is a criminal and his gang. And they were kidnapping. They sent their mom and other of their brothers to Lagos. He moved to Uyo. Now, he has established that there's very successful business in Uyo. He's coming down to the state of Anambra, trying to use, because there is a road called Arondi Zog Road, which is very notorious. Myself speaking to you, if not by sheer luck of the creator, the Chukwu Okike, I would have been a victim because I saw them in my front and I tweeted. If you go to my Twitter on the 29th of January, 30th of January, it's on my Twitter page. I tweeted while I was speaking with the army that came for rescue. And these things is a pattern. If my close friend is telling me, Mazi, these are the people I spent 3 days with. A man who lived in Jimeta, who lived in Adamawa, who understands, he understands Mumuye, he understands Hausa. So if he's telling me from the conversations I had with these people, these are the people that kidnapped me, I cannot tell him how to cry. He is crying however he likes. However, what I would agree with you is, when it comes to crime, when we ethnicize crime, it diminishes finding lasting results. Sometimes we get hung up on the nomenclature of the ethnicity of who committed the crime. Because I say, when Aba was destroyed by our brother Osisi Kanku, who eventually the military took away when he kidnapped before Chibok. Many people don't remember again. Before Chibok, he was the first person that kidnapped school children in a bus. And that was the height of it. That was under Theodore Oji. And eventually he was taken away. So the point remains, my brother, disagree with you that the bishop was either being, not saying the truth, or that he tried to. I don't think that's the case.
You know the reason why I say so.
Okay.
This particular person we are talking about, the bishop.
Mm-hmm.
I had him before he was captured. There was a time Joy Upe, is it Ubeku or something like that, his name, that lives in Lagos? Yeah, exactly. When Kanu was arrested, he jubilated and shared his happiness about the arrest of Kanu, something like that. The same bishop was the person that came out to say that why would Joe Ubeku be celebrating the capturing of Nnamdi Kanu?
I don't think.
I'm coming. So that is the reason why I told you that there are some incorrelation in the information. I'm coming. I will drop.
Okay.
In the information is the point I'm trying to make here. In essence, so to see. In essence, there are particular groups I have said that were created for the purpose to protect the bushes, so to see, as they claim. So let hold them by their weights. So does that mean they are sharing the same bushes with the Fulani? That is the question I'm asking.
Now, there are muddy waters. I don't want to, when it comes to things I do not have knowledge of how they operate, I would probably not want to engage on, but I'll tell you the following. Are there Fulanis in the Southeast? Yes. Are there peaceful Fulanis in the Southeast? And I say to you, yes. Are there Fulanis who probably are engaging in kidnapping in the Southeast? Of course, the answer is also yes. How? Very simple. I don't know if you have been at this place in question. If you go to Lokwanta, that doesn't mean, it's just like if I flip the same question and I say, do we have Igbos in Kano? The answer is yes. Do we have Igbos who are good citizens in Kano? Of course, the answer is yes. Do you have Igbos who probably engage in illicit business and other form of engaging in crime in Kano? Of course, the answer is yes. So let no one try to exonerate whether Fulanis ever are in the Southeast or whether they ever engage in crime. I don't think that is the case. What I stand here and what I say, and I must insist and repeat, is very simple. Be the criminal perpetrators, Igbo, Yoruba, I don't bloody care, deal with them squarely.
Exactly, squarely. I'm with you 100% on this one.
However, there is also something you must also know, which is,
okay, if
General T.Y. Danjuma says that the military are colluding. No, it's not funny because in as much as I have my reservations with T.Y. Danjuma, but there is a man who is not given to flippant speak. He makes some statements this way. I understand that there is a thin line between fake news and exaggerated news. But also, if in Isuchi today, a police officer, if you do not let me, a police officer made this statement.
Oh, my name is CSP Jumbu. I'm the commander of the Rapid Response Squad, Abia State. I was sent here by the Commissioner of Police 2 days ago.
Now, if a man that was sent to Abia State 2 days ago, a police officer from an intelligent unit who is not you and I, obviously has some information that may not be privy to, may not be in the public domain for you and I.
To assist the people of Insecurity to do away with all these kidnappers, the Fulanis who are kidnapping our people that are coming home, they are kidnapping them. We are not happy about it. Yesterday night, I sent my man to look at this cattle market. They go there to spend money. After kidnapping our people, they will collect ransom, they will go and spend it there. The army are not helping us.
Now, my brother, when I listen to this, there are things I can say to you as a private individual in our conversation that is not recorded. There are things that when I say them on official capacity, it has a different weight. Then I ask, is these police officers still also lying? My friend, the editor of formerly Elomba.com newsband now, Timothy Elomba, who was kidnapped in Abuja, 2nd week of February. A man who was born in Kaduna all his life, if not that when he went to Russia to study, he lived in Kaduna. He left to Russia from Kaduna, came back to Nigeria, now lived in Abuja. He understands this language and he had conversation with those that kidnapped him in Abuja. Now, again, in as much as I dislike discussing the ethnicity of those that engage in crime, because again, it doesn't make the crime less attractive if the crime was done by Fulani. It doesn't make the crime less grievous if the crime was done by Yoruba. But again, to deny the fact that this crime is just like if somebody, you know that sometimes my viewers don't like it when I tell them that most of the insecurity, in as much as we have the ones done by foreigners. But bear in mind that there is an Igbo adage that says that meaning the rat at home told the rat outside that there is a fish in the basket in the kitchen. That means if actually we keep our place sane and serene, there is no way outsider will come in to overpower you. Therefore, denying the fact that there are no kidnappers from this particular ethnicity that operates in the Southeast is very very disingenuous.
Are you done? Are you done?
Sorry?
I think I just want to chip in one point.
Yeah.
Barely, I think, is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? If I didn't forget, in Channels TV, I watched an interview of a kidnapper. He is from Niger State, and he mentioned his own language, but the accent he is using after kidnapping his his victims, he used Fulani accent, and he practically showed the police in the interview. I'm trying to make a point here.
Yeah.
He used Fulfully in convincing his.
So he can speak through there.
Yes, he in convincing his what? Even the tongue, he can change his tongue to be for Fulfully and to collect ransom. But in essence, you and I know that in all the region we have in Nigeria before this particular time, every of the region has its own crime that is being known with.
They haven't all become imams and bishops and popes.
Yeah. For
example,
the Northeast is known with Boko Haram. This is a general phenomenon or general knowledge by everybody. One. Secondly, the Northwest is known with kidnapping at ethnicity, tribal war in between. That is the Aziz of Kaduna, Benue, Kogi, all these states that are there. That is 2. 3, the Southeast is known with what? Kidnapping, drug. I'm coming.
No.
Wait, I'm coming. Let me drop. Let me drop before you debunk me. I'm coming.
Okay.
Let me drop before you debunk me. If you could remember, John Evans was kidnapping in Abia State, within the southeast, so to say. When he saw that his business is not mounting or is not chopping as he wanted, he will be relocated back to Lagos. That is the general.
Sorry.
That was the general.
Before you continue, I want to make this point. You see, exactly what you said is the way I want us to fight crime. Evans operated in Anambra State, my own state. He's from Njenje. But that was during the time of the former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi. He made the state uncomfortable for them, kidnappers, because if they catch you, they will go to your village, they will destroy, because obviously people engage in kidnapping to get money, to build mansion, buy big cars. So these things you want to show off, they get destroyed. So he ran to Lagos. When he was caught in Lagos, did you for once see any Igbo person saying, oh, are you sure he's Igbo or whatever? All everybody was saying, do justice to him. Actually, majority of the people now online saying, why is the federal government still wasting time on Evans, Igbos? They're saying, gosh, most of his victims, again, it doesn't matter. Even if it's Yoruba house, who cares who the victims are? One thing here is he engaged in crime. He kidnapped human beings. He put them under ransom. So let him be dealt with. So why would we come and want to, defend, oh, are you sure these people are doing it? Why do I care? Deal with the individual.
It's like misunderstood me completely of what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Good. So the point I'm trying to buttress in this your program is that I am not saying, I said, I don't want to say the bishop is lying. You heard me say this earlier. But I said, there are some incorrelation in the information he passed through. The reason why I say so, at this particular moment, the sweet information most of the common men in Southeast want to hear now is Fulani this. Everything that happened is Fulani. You know this, I know this. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true. I give it to you.
So paraventure, so to say, I'm not, let's even leave this talk. I don't want to go deep.
No.
I am not saying, okay, in essence, I am not saying there are no Fulani kidnappers in the whole Southeast. I'm not saying that.
Now you're talking. It would have been disingenuous for you to insinuate.
I'm going, but if there are maybe 10 kidnapping incidents that happened in Southeast, or maybe 11 or 12 or 20, I can bet you and swear with my life that 8 or 10 out of it are the same people, indigenous people that did it. If, for example, now there are kidnapping in the Southwest, Kaduna axis, Abuja axis, I can bet you with my life that 20 to 18% of the kidnapping, if it is 20, 18 to 17 of kidnapping committed are done by Fulanis. I can swear with my life on this.
Why would it be 80%? 80 or 7?
No, don't understand. I'm trying to see if, for example, there are 20 kidnapping incidents that happen.
Okay,
18, 18, 17, 16.
Yeah, just 80,
large
19,
number.
Yes, of course, that's
large number. Thank you very much. For example, now, we have seen so many videos that surround the social media. I think last 1 month, so to say, so many people were kidnapped and killed, and their cars were parked at the front stage of the house of the people. And
on that one, I agree with you. That's why the president, your president was so baffled. I call him your president. Don't take offense, but he's your president.
He's also your president, whether you like it or not. He's your president. Are you not a Nigerian? Are you not a Nigerian? No. You have to answer this. Are you not a Nigerian? So far, you still keep.
No, I didn't vote him.
I'm coming. Wait, no. We are not going to pass this particular point. Whether you vote or you do not vote, so far you claim that you're a Nigerian. He is your president.
I was never asked if I want to be a Nigerian.
No, I'm just asking you. Have you ever denied being a Nigerian?
I was never asked. I needed a Nigerian passport and I got one.
No, you have not answered my question.
That makes me a Nigerian.
You have not answered my question. Have you ever denied being a Nigerian?
No. I mean, on a serious note, I have never denied being. But you know, if we come back to the, you know, before I let you go, it's good actually you join. There is one thing that is very clear. If we're being truthful to ourselves, like the president said on the kidnapping incident that happens within the Northwest, he questioned why a people, the same culture, almost the same language, the same everything, why are they doing this to themselves? Like the train bombing or the train bomb attack, the kidnapped victims.
Yeah.
You know, some people here want to make it to be, oh, some people were targeted. Listen, no one cared who was in the train. They just want to grab anyone. So it doesn't matter if you're Fulani, Igbo, Hausa, you know, because when they were shooting, when the train was still going, when they were shooting, that bullet could have touched anyone. The bullet was not sent to go and kill an Igbo.
What really makes me angry about some things that are happening in the issue of kidnapping and killing, so to say, in Nigeria in general, so
that the government appears not to be doing enough.
I'm coming. If these people that claim they are fighting the government because they like this and this and this and that, why are they nurturing on the poor people on the street? Let me give you an example. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Let me give you an example in the southwest now. And northwest, so to say. Sorry, yeah, northwest and north central, so to say. Axis of Zamfara, Kaduna, and other states like that. They claim that they are kidnapping because government refused to give them what they want or give them dividend of democracy. Then if you're fighting the government, why are you kidnapping the poor people and killing the poor people in the village? Why can't you go and kidnap one governor or one senator or a son of a senator and demand the ransom you want to demand? Why will your angriness be vested on the poor people that are looking for the livelihood of their family daily? Why? Why would that be? For example, in the Southeast now, the people that are killing that we know, they say they are fighting the government because the government refuses to give the referendum. Why will they not go and fight the government, their state government, their senators, their state house of reps, and all others? Why are they killing the innocent people on the street? Why are you enforcing the sit at home on the poor people? Why can't you enforce the sit at home on the people that are leading, on the governors, on the senators? That is the way I'm seeing in correlation with what they are saying.
No, but no. There is no correlation. The point you've made is valid and I yield. You know why I said the point you've made is valid is it does not matter. If you go to Zamfara now, if you go to Zamfara, the people bearing the brunt. If you go to Zamfara today, the people bearing the brunt are the poorest of the poor. If you go to the southwest today, and these where you have insecurity, the people bearing the brunt are the poorest of the poor. If
that is what baffles me.
You know, but again, that is the mindset of because again, bear in mind here that these people are looking for the weakest link. They are looking for the weakest link. They are looking for the soft target. A governor most times moves with bulletproof car, moves with an avalanche of.
Then to prove to us that they are powerful, why can't you attack him directly?
Well, even if they do, they are being repelled. How many times have they tried to attack Zulum? How many times have they been repelled? You know. So, but the bottom line is, let's not, go back and forth on this. The bottom line is that there are, kidnappings happening, and sadly, this kidnapping that happened recently has been linked, whether you like it or not, to the Fulani Herdsmen. The one that kidnapped my own brother, the same mother, the same father, in 2015, was by, sadly, the same people. The same one that happened to my friend on the 2nd week of April, sadly, by the same people. But my father-in-law, who was kidnapped in 2017, was kidnapped by my own people. My own people. He was kidnapped, you know, in my own state. Sadly, where he was even taken was in my own state, because where he was kept, he could hear them all speak Igbo. He could hear them argue among themselves what they should do with them. In the funniest part was in his own Idemili dialect, you know, in his own local dialect, he could hear them converse. So, but again, does it make any difference that he was kidnapped by his own people? Or does it make any difference that he was kidnapped by the Fulani? Or does it make any difference that he was kidnapped by Nigerian, whatever? What should bother anyone is that we live in peace. If he was kidnapped by his own people, they should be dealt with. If he was kidnapped by people that came from outside Nigeria, then we a failed state. How do we allow foreigners to come in and do this to us? If he was kidnapped by someone from the different ethnic nationality, it doesn't make it less a crime. It is also a crime. So the crime should be dealt with. But sadly, and I must leave you with that the government appears unwilling. The government appears incapacitated. The government appears unserious to really look at what happened in Anambra State, the case of the beheading of the Okechukwu Okoye. DSS has done a fantastic job by tracking, using technology. Then you ask yourself, is it because the man in question is a member of the House of Assembly?
If the man those who have been killed that are not
if
in the same
was
situation.
to be you or me, would DSS apply the same methodology to track?
That's what I'm saying.
So, and that's, you know, at the end of the day, we can fight ourselves all we like. We are at the bottom of the pyramid. On that note, I say thank you very much for being part of this.
No problem. It's my pleasure always program. I appreciate. May God Almighty protect you and guide you for always trying to liberate the mindset of the people. It's not easy. We're always trying to create time out of no time to see you liberate the mindset and talk about sensitive issues like this. I really appreciate.
Thank you very much. But again, Nigeria from top to bottom.
ABC, Nigeria, Nigeria from top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom.
It's like a place on tumbling. Everything is not funny. They will play the fun. I play like this.
Nigeria from top to bottom. That was Mohammed Aminu. And, you know, I'm happy that he joined this stream. I read your comment and I say to myself, people, calm down. It is good that we must not only talk to the sound that, or the voice that sounds like ours. Sometimes you sit back, you listen from the other side with view to understand, pick points, and project your own point as well. Because in conversation, you talk, I assimilate what you have said, I process it, I see where it makes sense. If you have superior argument, or does your argument not make sense? Then again, look, I disagree with him with the exception of one point that I said I agree. But again, we have to do this, agree, disagree, respecting one another without necessarily calling him names or he calls me names. That is what I want us to project, that we can always have civil conversations. People may not like it. I have someone else about to go, but I have another person joining me, Chike. Chike, you're welcome. May you put the light on very well. Oh, he's gone. So, but again, That is where we are. So people, we can make this happen. Okay,
yes.
you're welcome.
Yes. Good afternoon, Njenje Media. Thank you so much. My name is Chiki. I'm calling from Germany. It's a pleasure to be part of the program.
Wie geht's dir?
Mir geht's gut. Und dir?
Ja. Mir geht's auch gut. Na, was treibst du? Was magst du?
Alles gut.
Wo bist du eigentlich?
Alles gut, Bruder. Ich spreche Deutsch ein bisschen.
Ein bisschen, ja. Aber wo genau wohnst du? In welcher Stadt?
Wohnst in Stuttgart. Ich wohne aus Stuttgart. Ja.
Okay. Du wohnst in Stuttgart. Naja, okay. So how rein? Now go ahead. What's your contribution?
Okay, for me, I think looking at the whole, regarding being specific on the whole issue from the revelation from the bishop, I mean, this was known, but this is pure, this is clear and unequivocal, you know. It's obvious, you know. Dr. Malafia said this. This is clear and unequivocal. We need to be aware of the potential dangers that, you know, surround Alibo. You know, we need to be aware of that, and we should not just, let's say, join ourselves to call outsiders, you know, to destroy. You understand what I'm trying to say? You have this agreement with your brother, and we should not be too quick, you know, to condemn groups. You hear of an attack or someone is up, and it was like there was this conspiracy on IPOB, and you know, it's like, why, without any hardcore evidence? This was my only concern, you know. And think about it: somebody who commits a crime, you know, IPOB is like the perfect cover. Perfect cover. You can have an agreement with disagreement with two politicians can have disagreements. You can say, okay, I can go and kill that guy, or I can go and do ABC, commit a crime. IPOB will take the hits, and the actual perpetrator of those crimes go unpunished. This is even more dangerous. So for me, when the bishop came out to give these revelations, it was clear and unequivocal. It was clear. There is no, he did not mince words, you know, and that needs to be studied in depth. It has vindicated, it's clear. There is no. So for me, I think we need to learn from that.
Hold on. Are you making a mistake here?
How do you mean, sir?
Hold on. Let's walk back a little bit. Okay. Let's walk back on this fixation. You see, I tell people, when I read comment, people say, oh, Mazi, but you're saying that when the crime happened, that it was done by IPOB or that it was done by ESN. And I laugh because I think some of us, our minds are somewhat whacked and fixed on something. When a crime happens, you look at the pattern, right? You look at motive. Now, what should worry you? This person, this head of Methodist Church, has told us who kidnapped him and his men. I have no reason to doubt him because I have collaborations, I have patterns. You look at the vicinity, right? If it's between Okigwe and Lokbanta, that run the zone, let's say about 30 kilometer radius. There is a reason why that is happening. The only challenge I find there is that why is it that the states that has this expanse of land appear uninterested or incapable of dealing with it? Now, do not jubilate because the guy says he was kidnapped by Fulani. If you move and come to Unubi, the whole of Agwata, and Osumeni, Ihiala, Lilu, Olu, Oru, you're not going to be kidnapped by Fulani. You're going to be kidnapped by your brother. That is the simple truth.
Understood. Understood.
So, exactly. So when we now jubilate,
No. Please.
Hold on. People hold
on.
Okay. Let us look at these patterns because my interest there is how do we stop it? My there's not going to, if German leaves the Stuttgart, come to my place and kidnap me, it's not going to make it a less crime. It's kidnap because you know money you pay. Somebody has denied you your freedom of
We're saying
movement.
the same thing. We're saying the same thing. What I'm trying to say is this: like, crime is crime, irrespective of who commits it. You understand? All I'm saying is we should not be too quick. You should not. It appears.
Who is being quick here? My thing is that the police
is a
are
general
not
message.
They are not, because listen. Let me tell you. Hold on.
I'm trying to make a point. I'm trying to make a point.
Let me tell you this. You can go on. Okay. I was on BBC interview with Joey Bokwet. We are trying to end the program. The moderator asked that the killings in Imo State, that time Anambra wasn't a hotbed, it was Imo. Who was behind it? Joey Bokwet shouted, it was IPOB, it was this, it was this. I kept quiet. The moderator asked me who do I think was behind it? I said, why are you asking me? If the DSS said it was IPOB, if the police said it was IPOB, and the governor, a sitting governor, that has security report says, no, it's not. So me, an ordinary man on the street, that sometimes if I give you a call to say, come and appear here, let us discuss, you ignore that, I don't have any information. How would I tell you who is behind it? I don't know.
Exactly.
And that is the honest truth. Then he jumps up, oh, you see, he's a supporter, he's doing this. I said, well, I don't care what you think. But if we move away from emotions and bring in logic, where something is not clear, you don't know. Like the killing of the Adamawa woman in Anambra State with 4 children. My dear, whether she was killed by Hausa, Yoruba, I don't care. But my anger is, and that's what I expected every person with conscience to do, was to say, no, this is wrong. Irrespective of who did it. Then let the security agents go ahead and get who did it. So come and tell me it is IPOB, it is not IPOB, it is bandit, it's not bandit. Do I really care? Get me who did it. I don't bloody care why they did it, but you are not. You can't take another person's life, especially young children.
I agree.
3 years, 6 years. Come on.
These are
the type of things when we hear, oh, there is Kaduna riot, these that they rip women off, they take children. Now suddenly it's happening in our own backyard. Then we shouldn't be outraged.
We should be outraged. I agree.
Someone is a House of Assembly is captured. The neck severe from the body. A woman, Gloria, was captured in what's it called? In a Banana Junction in Imo State. Her head severed after rape, and you don't want to be outraged.
We have to be outraged. Sister? We have to be. We have to be. Exactly. We have to be.
So,
this is where it's coming from.
I always try to avoid these. Now this person do one.
Exactly. I agree.
I want to avoid it because it makes me. It really makes me sad, and it diminishes our humanity.
Exactly, and it takes this thing you said is a very, very. I mean, you just hit the nail on the head. People, being too quick to act. This is why you said it all. We need to be focused on who actually committed those crimes, irrespective of who they are. Exactly, with evidence, and I really appreciate you said that. Also, secondly, I think it's also very important, considering the state of things, the South needs to be united. I mean, we need to be. I appreciate what you've done. You've been preaching this, the South needs to be united. For our survival depends on it. Our survival. I've moved on.
If they don't want to be united, let them kill themselves. What kind of rubbish is that? How can a people, you've been calling them to come together, form a single front, right?
Yes.
Come together, demand something, and at some point they started with open grazing. ban on open grazing, which to me makes a lot of sense. You know, I'm not saying you shouldn't sell your cow, but the reason why we do have farmer header clashes that a cow goes into a farmland, the farm is a fixed asset. It doesn't move. Farm doesn't fight farm. Your crop cannot suddenly leave your farm, come into my farm and fight my own okra. It doesn't happen. Exactly. It's only when some other thing comes into my farmland, destroys it. I talk to you, you bring out dagger, and I bring out my own gun. That is conflict. But if I'm able to stop you from moving on the ground, that you're only going to, just like a container, you don't just, somebody gets a container and they start dragging it on the street of Osho, you know. You put it you get your container, you put it in a truck, you truck it to your destination before you open it, isn't it? So if we get, so then there is no conflict. But if you leave it open without that container being locked, it might get to a point that they will want to take one or two things from out, you know, and that's how fight starts. So, but if we put these in proper perspective, and I think it shouldn't be any issue, actually. It shouldn't. So open grazing, the South doesn't want to. Look at Wike now saying, oh, I've gone to, the South doesn't want to support me. I mean, I hear some things, I feel like just smacking adults. I don't know, I'm really visibly angry because if they just come together, something you can demand, you said, for Christ's sake, the North has done a presidency for 8 years, freaking demand it. If you don't want to give us the presidency, stay on your own. It's as simple as that. And you couldn't. And now everybody is saying, oh, who don't Akwi state governor, oh, I want to be, oh, this person I want to be. All of you, anyway.
Well, I mean, it's this lesson has been saying this thing.
We can never
learn from history. Learn from history. Unity, because it affects everything. It affects our, you know, everything. You know, this is why even the politicians, if they don't learn the importance of unity, this election should teach them how, you know, there is strength in coming in number. Say, look, one South, all those words are words of division, you know, Southeast, South, you know, we need to be united, and that is it. And in fact, you just hit the nail on the head, sir, when you talked about politicians coming with their own, you know, individual motives, selfishness, to the detriment of the region, and this
there
also affects our.
Let's put it there.
Exactly. No collective.
In 2017, I made a video, and I stand by that video. The solution to the madness happening in Nigeria is a collective South.
That is it.
The solution to the madness happening in Nigeria is collective South. Today you have it, then that is Nigeria will now go from top to bottom. Thank you very much for being part of this.
Thank you very much.
And I will say good night from my side. Nigeria from top to bottom. Enjoy that new. That's going to be my signature tune now moving forward. Anytime I come online, I play Nigeria is from top to bottom. Thank you.
ABC Nigeria from top to bottom. Top to bottom. Top to bottom. Top to bottom.
This one Nigeria is all tumbling. I'm beautiful water. Everything is not funny. They will blame the I play. My neighbor press one. He goes the apart.
ABC Nigeria from top to bottom. Top to bottom. Top to bottom. Top to bottom.
This one Nigeria is all tumbling. I'm beautiful water. Everything is not funny. They will blame the I play. My neighbor press one. He goes the apart.
I represent and symbolize all the characteristics of a typical Igbo man. Yes, I've learned to be more Igbotic than I ever expected. As an Igbo man, I've perfected the act to be international in any dream that I chase. To be industrious, be consistent, and powerfully focused. All the lessons I learned from the brothers in the tribe have made me dogged, hardworking, and exhibiting the ability and the capacity to survive in any kind of weather. Yes, I am an original wafo because Mamumu don't do. I am a